The stars were calm, or at least they seemed so. From the bridge of the Luminaris, flagship of the Galaxy Council, the void stretched endlessly in every direction, studded with distant suns and glimmering nebulae. High Commander Kale Draven stood at the observation deck, his eyes scanning the familiar constellations, seeking some reassurance in their patterns. For countless cycles he had witnessed the marvels of space, rogue planets wandering alone, supernovae lighting the darkness like celestial fireworks, and entire civilizations rising and falling in silence. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared him for the data now flashing urgently on the Luminaris sensors. The alarm began as a soft chime, almost polite in its insistence. Then within seconds, it escalated into a shrill cacophony. Red lights flashed along the control panels, illuminating the sleek metallic surfaces of the bridge in intermittent bursts. Holographic screens flickered to life, projecting streams of numbers, coordinates, and unfamiliar signatures that no one aboard the flagship had ever seen before. "Commander Draven," called Lieutenant Veracos, her voice steady but tense, "you need to see this." Kale's gaze hardened. "Show me everything. Every fleet, every vessel, every trajectory." The main display expanded, revealing an intricate web of motion. At first glance it looked like a normal sector chart. But then Kale noticed the movement. There. Too fast. Too precise. The clusters of objects were moving at speeds that defied known propulsion physics. They were headed directly for one planet in particular, Earth. Kale's jaw tightened. Multiple fleets, approaching Earth, at impossible speeds, he said, his voice low, almost a whisper. The words felt heavier than any graviton storm he had ever navigated. Across the chamber, Ambassador Celera Vuenen's expression shifted from curiosity to horror. She was one of the Council's most seasoned diplomats, having mediated disputes between countless species across the galaxy. Yet even her composed demeanor faltered. "Kale, are you certain? Nothing moves that fast in this sector. Not even the Luminari raiders." Kale's hand hovered over the display. "I've triple-checked. Sensor anomalies, false positives. I've ruled them all out. They are real and they are coming." Solara's breath caught. "Earth?" she whispered. She had studied humanity before, but only as a minor, fragile species at the edge of galactic awareness. "Why Earth?" Kale shook his head, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him. "That I don't know. But if these fleets reach the planet, it won't be for diplomacy." In the far corner of the chamber, Archivist Never Thal tapped at a console, eyes wide with disbelief. "Commander, the formations are unlike anything catalogued in the Council archives. They're precise, almost organic. Not chaotic. Not random. They move with intent." Intent. The word lingered in Kale's mind. That was worse than chaos. That implied strategy. Purpose. A predator seeking its prey. Below them, in the blue and green sphere of Earth, life continued in blissful ignorance. Children laughed in parks, cities sparkled with evening lights, and satellites traced their eternal orbits silently. The people of Earth had no idea that the very fabric of their existence was about to be tested in ways they could not imagine. On board the Etherian, a human-built space research station in low orbit, astronomers first detected fleeting flashes, tiny sparks against the blackness, moving faster than anything they had ever recorded. Their instruments screamed anomalies, but at first the data was dismissed as interference, cosmic rays, or some sensor glitch. By the time the flashes became undeniable, it was already too late. Something vast, something foreign, was approaching at velocities that bent the rules of physics they had so carefully charted. Back on the Luminaris, Kale turned to Celera. "We cannot alert Earth yet. Their communication systems are too primitive. Any warning might not only be ignored but could also attract attention prematurely. We must observe and prepare." Solara's eyes narrowed. "Observe?" she asked, incredulous. "They are defenseless against what's coming. And yet you suggest we watch." Kale's expression hardened. "We are the Council, Celera. Observation is part of our mandate. But I'll admit, it's more than observation now. This is a test. Perhaps of humanity itself. Or perhaps the galaxy is witnessing its first truly merciless predator. Either way, we need to be ready." Suddenly, the main screen flickered again, showing a close-up of the approaching fleets. The ships were enormous, their hulls covered in strange iridescent plating that shimmered with an unnatural light. They were triangular, angular, and seemed to almost vibrate with energy. Their formation was chillingly precise, like a school of cosmic sharks circling an oblivious shoal. Kale swallowed hard. "Every sensor we have, the readings, they're not just fast. They're adaptive. They adjust to our scans. They anticipate detection. This is not an accidental encounter. They know we are here. Celera placed a hand on the railing, steadying herself. Kale, if they are so advanced, what hope does humanity have? What hope does any species have? Kale's gaze hardened as he watched the holographic projection. Hope, he said quietly, is why we exist. It's why the council was formed. Some species survive not because they are the strongest, but because they refuse to surrender. The chamber was silent, heavy with tension. Every council member knew that the coming hours would define not just the fate of Earth, but the credibility of the Galaxy Council itself. Failure was not an option, but neither was interference without understanding. Then, without warning, a new blip appeared on the sensors, blinking with a pulsing red light. Kale's eyes widened. Another fleet, much larger, coming from the outer rim. And they're converging on Earth at speeds that I can't even calculate. Celera gasped. 2 fleets? Simultaneously? Kale, we may not have time to intervene. Kale's jaw tightened. He straightened, a sense of cold determination settling over him. Prepare the council. We will convene an emergency session. We need every available strategist, every mind, every resource. Humanity may be young, but the galaxy is about to witness something extraordinary. And if we fail, the council will be remembered not as protectors but as spectators. In that moment, as the stars outside shimmered with the approach of unimaginable forces, a silent thought crossed Kale's mind. For all their technology, all their wisdom, the Galaxy Council had never faced anything quite like this. And yet, somewhere deep inside, he felt a flicker of something he could not name, a spark of anticipation tinged with fear and awe. Somewhere below, on that fragile blue planet called Earth, humanity continued to live, unaware of the storm approaching from the stars. But Kale knew, as did Celera and every other council member, nothing would ever be the same again. And so, the warning was sounded. Not yet to Earth but to the galaxy itself. The skies above Earth, once serene and familiar, now trembled with the approach of incomprehensible forces. At first, people mistook the anomalies for meteor showers, flashes of light streaking across the horizon, strange clouds of iridescent energy hovering in the atmosphere. But it didn't take long for reality to pierce the illusion. In New York, Terence Solis, a young engineer with an insatiable curiosity about the stars, stood atop a rooftop, binoculars raised to the heavens. "That's impossible," he muttered under his breath. Across the horizon, colossal shapes emerged from the thinning clouds, ships unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Their surfaces shimmered like liquid metal, bending the sunlight into strange patterns of colors that defied human optics. Some hovered silently, others moved with a terrifying grace, sliding across the sky with the precision of a predator. Terrence's heart raced. He had studied astronomy for years, but nothing could have prepared him for this. "They're massive," he whispered. "And intelligent. This isn't just a random visit." Meanwhile, in orbit aboard the Etherian, Captain Leora Vex monitored the situation with a mixture of awe and alarm. Her station, a collaborative research outpost for humanity and the Council, was not equipped for war. Yet the sensors detected every approach vector, every energy fluctuation, every pulse of alien technology with uncanny clarity. "Leora, this is unprecedented," her first officer reported, voice tense. "They're not just in orbit, they're scanning every city, every major facility. Their sensors are analyzing everything." Leora's fingers flew over the controls. "Alert Earth authorities," she ordered. "Even if they don't understand it, we need them aware. They're not here to negotiate. They're here to observe, and perhaps to dominate." On Earth, the news networks went into overdrive. Images of strange ships hovering over major cities flooded every screen. Panic spread in some areas, awe in others, and disbelief everywhere. Governments scrambled jets and defenses, but conventional weapons proved useless. Missiles fizzled against invisible shields, lasers bent harmlessly away, EMPs and electronic countermeasures failed without exception. Humanity, for the first time, confronted a force that made their most advanced technology seem primitive. Kale Draven and Ambassador Celera Viernen watched from the Luminaris as the situation unfolded in real time. "Their species is young," Kale said quietly, tension etched across his face. "Yet their response is remarkably coordinated. Even under pressure, they are not panicking. This is unusual." Celera studied the Earthlings on her holographic display. "I've seen countless civilizations fall under far less threatening conditions. Most would have collapsed within hours. And yet, They are trying to adapt, to organize. They don't even know the rules of this game, and yet they play it anyway. Back on the planet, Terran moved through the streets, witnessing both chaos and courage. Emergency sirens blared as people evacuated cities, but others stood firm, documenting the events with smartphones and cameras. Volunteer engineers began forming impromptu teams, trying to understand the alien ships and their capabilities. In a small laboratory, Terran's mentor, Dr. Kalen Mr. was already recalibrating satellites and modifying energy receivers in hopes of creating some form of defense. "They're observing, not attacking yet," Dr. Mr. said, eyes darting between schematics and live sensor feeds. "But they're calculating. Every move we make, every defensive action, they're learning from it. This isn't just war, it's a study." Leora Vex communicated with the Luminaris, coordinating data across human and council networks. "Kale," she said, voice steady but urgent, "their ships are adapting to our responses. Every maneuver we attempt, they counter in real time. If we don't find a weakness soon, cities will start falling." Kale's expression darkened. Then humanity must discover that weakness themselves. They've never faced a challenge like this. This may be the first time the galaxy has seen them tested, truly tested. High above, the alien ships began deploying smaller drones, sleek and black, each moving with silent precision toward key targets: communication centers, military bases, research stations. On the streets, people fled as drones scanned buildings, probing defenses, cataloging responses. Some drones hovered for minutes over individual humans, emitting faint pulses of light that made hairs stand on end. Terran watched as one drone scanned the lab. His heart pounded. "It's measuring us," he whispered. "Figuring out what we are, what we can do." He glanced at Dr. Mr. "We have to act. We can't wait." Together, they began experimenting with modified satellite frequencies, sending disruptive pulses into the alien drone sensors. At first, nothing happened. Then, slowly, a drone faltered, spinning erratically before retreating back toward its mothership. "It's working," Terran exclaimed. "We can fight back, in some way." Across the galaxy, Solara's eyes widened. "They're learning, just as quickly as we predicted," she murmured. Kale nodded, a hint of a smile crossing his face. "Yes, and that is why we watch. This is why humanity matters. Their ingenuity, their persistence, it's unlike anything the Council has ever observed." But the alien forces were not idle. Commander Zyrek Thal, aboard the lead vessel of the invading fleet, observed Earth with cold fascination. "Primitive life forms," he said, voice resonant in the alien tongue. "Yet they radiate something unusual, defiance." His superior, Vorik, a towering figure of shifting energy, inclined his head. "Defiance is irrelevant if they cannot survive. Observe their attempts, Zyrek, but know this: survival will be costly." Even as the threat grew, humanity's small victories began to inspire hope. In Tokyo, engineers managed to disrupt a drone swarm long enough to evacuate a hospital safely. In London, civilians rigged city lights to create interference patterns that temporarily blinded the sensors of an alien scout vessel. Across continents, humans improvised, adapted, and resisted, displaying an instinctual ingenuity that no alien calculation had predicted. Kale observed all of this from the Luminaris, a mixture of awe and relief settling in his chest. "They are evolving," he said softly. "Faster than anything we've seen. Faster than anyone could anticipate." Solara frowned. "But at what cost? The planet is defenseless. Cities will be damaged. Millions may die before this ends." Kale's eyes stayed fixed on Earth. "Perhaps. But the question isn't whether they will survive. The question is whether they will rise, and if they do, the galaxy will never look at them the same way again." Night fell across Earth, and yet the alien ships remained, hovering above cities, casting eerie shadows on the planet below. Humanity, small and fragile, stood under their presence, trembling yet unbroken. For the first time, Earth's inhabitants truly understood the vastness of the galaxy, and the peril that came with it. And somewhere beyond the void, the Galaxy Council watched in astonishment. They had faced wars, invasions, and the collapse of entire civilizations, yet never had they seen a species react to cosmic terror with such courage, such adaptability. Terran Solis, standing on his rooftop once more, looked up at the shimmering vessels. "I don't know if we can stop them," he whispered, "but we're not going down without a fight." The first contact was complete. Earth had been seen, measured, and tested. And for the first time in human history, the galaxy's great powers began to pay attention, not just to the planet's technology, but to the indomitable spirit of the species that called it home. The battle for survival had begun. The grand chamber of the Galaxy Council was alive with tension, its massive walls echoing with the murmurs and exclamations of delegates from countless star systems. Some were insectoid, their limbs clicking in nervous anticipation. Others were crystalline, their bodies refracting light into rainbow patterns as they shimmered with agitation. Yet despite the diversity, all were united in one thought: Earth, that fragile blue planet at the edge of known space, was in grave danger. High Commander Kale Draven stood at the central dais, eyes scanning the assembly. His usually composed demeanor bore the weight of a problem the galaxy had never faced before. Beside him, Ambassador Celera Vunen adjusted her ceremonial robes, though her mind was far from ceremony. "The reports are accurate," Kale began, his voice carrying authority over the murmurs. "Two fleets, each unlike any technology we have catalogued, are approaching Earth. Their velocities defy physics, and their maneuvers are calculated. We are observing an unprecedented event, a coordinated assault on a planet that has no known defenses capable of repelling them." A ripple of shock passed through the chamber. Eldrin Tho, the council delegate from the crystalline world of Velora, leaned forward. "You are suggesting an entire species, primitive by our standards, faces annihilation? And the council has done nothing so far." Kale's jaw tightened. "We are not idle. Observation is our mandate. Intervention carries risks, but more importantly, we need to understand the nature of the threat before committing our forces." A murmur of dissent rose from the insectoid delegates. Chirix of Zarnok clicked his mandibles. "Observation? They will be extinct before your deliberations are complete. Even our smallest fleets could destroy them before they adapt." Celera raised her hand, calling for silence. "We are underestimating them," she warned. "Yes, they are young. Yes, they are technologically primitive. But they are demonstrating creativity, ingenuity, adaptability. They are not collapsing under pressure, they are learning." The room fell silent for a moment. Kale nodded to Celera. "She is correct. Sensors aboard the Luminaris confirmed that humans have already begun countermeasures. Improvised energy disruptions, satellite recalibrations, even interference patterns, measures no species so young should be capable of devising. And yet they are doing it." A hulking, serpentine delegate from Orvith Prime, Slithar Vek, hissed in disbelief. "You are suggesting they can survive against fleets that can traverse light years in days and manipulate energy beyond our comprehension? It is impossible." Kale's eyes swept across the chamber. "Perhaps impossible, until it isn't. We have underestimated species before and always to our regret. But humanity is showing signs of something we rarely see: unyielding defiance. That is why we must debate wisely, for this is no ordinary conflict." The discussion shifted quickly into strategy. Some delegates proposed immediate evacuation of Earth's population, using council ships to extract as many humans as possible. Others argued for a full-scale strike against the invading forces, though Kale knew the risk. A direct attack could escalate the conflict, potentially destroying the planet as collateral. Solara's voice cut through the growing chaos. "Evacuation assumes humans cannot survive. A strike assumes they cannot fight. And yet, they are already doing both. They are defending themselves with what little they have. If we intervene too early, we deny them the chance to demonstrate what they are capable of. And that is the essence of what the Council must observe." An elderly, avian delegate from Rinther 9, Eldra Voss, squawked. "You are advocating passive observation while billions of humans risk death?" Kale met her gaze steadily. "I am advocating careful observation. Intervention will come if necessary. But first we must see if humanity can survive, and if they can, what they may teach the galaxy about resilience, ingenuity, and the indomitable spirit of life." The room fell into uneasy silence. Few had seen Kale so resolute. Even the most vocal delegates recognized the weight of his argument. To intervene prematurely was to rob a species of its defining moment, a moment that might alter the galaxy's understanding of life itself. Meanwhile, aboard Earth, the alien fleets continued their silent surveillance. Commander Zyrek Thal grew increasingly frustrated. "Primitive life forms," he muttered to his second-in-command, "yet they resist, adapt, learn. This defiance is unexpected." Vorik's towering form shimmered as he observed Earth through the fleet's sensors. "Do not mistake small victories for survival, Zyrek. They may adapt for a moment, but the storm is coming. Their defiance will be tested beyond imagination." Back in the council chamber, Kale tapped the console before him, projecting holographic overlays of Earth's defenses. Celera highlighted areas where human ingenuity was already evident: makeshift energy pulses disrupting drones, coordinated city evacuations, and improvised interference patterns. "They are learning faster than any species I've observed," Kale said softly. "And that is why we debate carefully. Their potential is immense yet fragile. Misstep and they are gone. Wait too long and we may have missed the lesson entirely." Slythar Vec hissed again, agitation evident. "Potential does not protect against annihilation." "No," Kale admitted. "But willpower, creativity, and adaptability can. Humanity is proving it." Celera stepped forward, her voice carrying over the chamber. "Let us not decide their fate by fear or by protocol alone. Let us allow them the chance to fight, to adapt, and to rise. Only then can we measure their worth to the galaxy." The debate continued for hours. Delegates from every corner of the galaxy weighed in, arguments clashing like cosmic storms. Some feared for the humans' lives. Others feared that letting them fight could provoke the aliens into escalation. But the evidence was clear: humans were not passive. They were resisting. And resistance, Kale and Celera knew, was the first sign of greatness. By the time the chamber quieted, a tentative consensus had emerged. The Council would continue to observe actively, supplying limited guidance and technology only if humanity's survival hung in the balance. Direct intervention was reserved as a last resort. Kale exhaled, allowing himself a brief moment of relief. "It is settled," he said. "We watch. We protect only when necessary. And we learn. Humanity may yet surprise us." Solara's gaze lingered on Earth's holographic image. "They already are," she murmured. "They already are." As the Council adjourned, Kale lingered, staring into the depths of space where the alien fleets drew ever closer. Somewhere in that vast darkness, the fate of a young, resilient species hung in the balance. And somewhere he knew the galaxy was about to witness something extraordinary, a test of courage, ingenuity, and the unyielding will to survive. On Earth, Terran Solis looked up at the alien ships once more, unaware of the deliberations taking place among the stars. He did not know whether humanity would survive the coming storm. But deep in his heart, he felt a spark of determination. "We won't give up," he whispered. "No matter what comes, we fight." For the first time, the galaxy's great powers truly began to pay attention, not just to a fragile blue planet, but to the spirit of the species that called it home. Humanity had been seen, measured, and tested. And the Council, despite centuries of wisdom, was beginning to wonder if they had underestimated what these small, seemingly insignificant beings could achieve. The debate was over, but the test had only just begun. The skies over Earth glowed with unnatural light, a surreal battlefront stretching from horizon to horizon. Alien drones swarmed like swarms of metallic hornets, probing every major city, every military base, every scientific facility. Their sensors pulsed with precision, mapping, calculating, and anticipating. Humanity, by all measures, was defenseless. And yet, humanity would not surrender. In New York, Terran Solis raced through the streets with a team of engineers and volunteers, carrying a network of improvised devices, repurposed satellites, energy disruptors, and experimental EMP emitters. "If we can just interfere with their drone sensors long enough," he shouted over the roar of alarms, "we can slow them down. Give the cities a chance to fight back." At the top of a skyscraper, Dr. Kalen Emwarar, Terran's mentor, monitored readings from the alien vessels above. "It's working," he exclaimed, pointing to the fluctuating energy signatures on his tablet. "The pulses are destabilizing their shielding in certain frequencies. They're not invincible." Meanwhile, aboard the orbital station Etherian, Captain Leora Vex coordinated the human defense with military units worldwide. Jets, helicopters, and drones scrambled to engage the alien scouts, but conventional weapons had little effect. "Focus on disruption and evasion," Leora instructed. "We cannot win with brute force. We win by being unpredictable, adaptive. That's what they aren't expecting." On Earth, people from all walks of life participated in the fight. Civil engineers rigged city lights to create interference patterns in the alien sensor arrays. Amateur radio enthusiasts transmitted coded signals to confuse drone navigation. Civilians evacuated vulnerable areas, laying traps and obstacles that slowed the alien advance. Humanity's ingenuity, improvisation, and sheer determination became their greatest weapon. From orbit, Kale Draven observed the unfolding resistance with awe. "They are evolving," he murmured to Ambassador Celera Vunen. "Faster than any species we've monitored." faster than anyone could anticipate. They are taking what little they have and turning it into an advantage. Celera nodded, her eyes fixed on the holographic projection of Earth. They've never faced a threat like this, yet they're learning, adapting, fighting back. This is why they matter. The galaxy is about to witness something extraordinary. Across the Atlantic, the alien commander Zyrek Thal grew visibly frustrated. Primitive life forms, he hissed, and yet they resist. They counter, they adapt, it is illogical. They should collapse. Vorik's towering, energy-shimmering form hovered over the command deck of the alien mothership. They are dangerous because they are unpredictable, he replied. This is not a battle of strength. This is a test of ingenuity. Observe closely. They may surprise us yet. In London, Terran and his team managed to overload a drone's shielding with a synchronized energy pulse. The alien craft faltered midair, spinning uncontrollably before retreating to regroup. A cheer erupted from the small resistance hub. We can fight them. Terran shouted. We can survive this. As the day wore on, humans continued to strike back, exploiting the tiniest weaknesses in alien systems. Engineers in Tokyo found that electromagnetic interference disrupted drone coordination. Students in Cairo hacked surveillance arrays to feed false data to alien sensors. Even children, guided by adults, used small reflective devices to misdirect scout drones. Every victory was small but cumulative. Every failure taught a lesson. Humanity was learning at an astonishing rate. From orbit, Leora Vex watched the drones stumble and retreat, reporting to Kale in real time. Their formation is breaking, she said, a hint of excitement in her voice. They weren't expecting coordinated counterattacks from so many points simultaneously. Kale's expression darkened with thought. It's not just coordination. They are adapting dynamically. Each engagement teaches them something. They are evolving tactics in real time, using intelligence the aliens cannot predict. Celera leaned closer. That defiance, that ingenuity, it's rare. This species may yet prove exceptional. Even as humanity gained small victories, the alien fleet pressed forward, relentless and calculating. In Beijing, massive alien ships hovered above the Forbidden City, scanning, mapping, analyzing. When humans fired modified energy pulses from experimental satellites, the ship recoiled slightly, its shield faltering for a precious few seconds. Those few seconds were enough. Across the planet, coordinated strikes caused alien drones to misfire, collide, or retreat. Cities lit the skies with improvised defense mechanisms. Lasers redirected through mirrors, EMP pulses, and network devices disrupting alien coordination. Humanity had turned its vulnerability into a weapon, exploiting creativity where technology alone could not prevail. High above the fray, Kale Draven observed Earth's resilience with a mixture of awe and pride. They may not be able to destroy the alien fleet, he said, but they are showing something no other species has shown us in millennia: the ability to rise against overwhelming odds. To innovate, to adapt, to survive. Solara's eyes glistened. They are fighting not because they must, but because they refuse to surrender. That spirit, that is the essence of what it means to be human. Even the alien commanders began to take note. Zyrek Thal's frustration grew into concern. These humans, they learn from each encounter. Their improvisation is not random. It is purposeful. We underestimated them. Vorik's voice echoed in the alien command deck. Do not underestimate defiance, Zyrek. This is a lesson the galaxy has seldom observed. A species so small, so young, yet capable of rapid adaptation. Monitor them closely. As night fell on the battle-ravaged cities, humanity's combined efforts began to shift the momentum, however slightly. Drones retreated to regroup. Alien sensors were confused by the improvised interference. Military and civilian units moved in tandem for the first time, guided by instinct, courage, and a spark of ingenuity that defied logic. Terran Solis stood atop a collapsed building, exhausted but resolute, watching alien vessels hesitate in the distance. We may be small, he whispered, we may be young, but we're not helpless. Not now. Not ever. And for the first time the human resistance tasted victory. Not complete, not final, but undeniable. Humanity had struck back, proving that even against impossible odds, they were capable of courage, creativity, and defiance. High above, Kale Draven and Celera Vianen watched, their silence filled with respect. The Council has never seen anything like this, Celera said quietly. No, Kale replied, his eyes never leaving Earth. And perhaps, in the coming cycles, we will see why this species matters more than we ever imagined. The first counterattacks were complete. Humanity had survived its first test. The alien fleet, vast and formidable, would not yield easily. Yet one undeniable truth now rippled through the galaxy. Earth would not fall quietly. The battle for survival had begun in earnest. And humanity, fragile though it might seem, had made the first decisive strike. The alien fleet hung ominously above Earth, casting long metallic shadows across cities that were already scarred by battle. Yet even amid the chaos, humanity's small victories were becoming apparent. The drones had faltered, their shields disrupted, their formations broken. And in the midst of this struggle, a new presence appeared on the edge of the solar system, a golden glimmer against the dark void, moving with precision and purpose. Aboard the Luminaris, High Commander Kale Draven noticed it first. "Celera, do you see that?" His finger traced the movement across the holographic display. A ship unlike any previously recorded appeared, radiating light rather than metal, its surface shimmering like liquid gold. It moved with a fluidity that no known propulsion system could explain. Ambassador Celera Vunen leaned forward, eyes wide. That's not one of the invaders. It's something else. Something ancient. The ship hovered at the edge of the system, observing the battle from a distance. Then a pulse of light emitted from its core, reaching toward Earth. Kale's sensors interpreted it as a communication signal. "They're sending a message. Open the channel," he ordered. A voice, calm yet commanding, echoed across the Council's network. It was not a human language, yet somehow, through advanced translation protocols, it became intelligible. "I am Irinder Kales," the voice said. "I have watched your species, observed their struggle. You underestimate the humans at your peril." Solara's eyebrows rose. "Who are you? Another member of the Council? A rogue faction?" Irinder's response was measured. "I am neither enemy nor ally to the invaders. I have studied this conflict and come to offer guidance. Your species, humans, are young, fragile, yet they possess a spark that many older civilizations have long forgotten. If you allow them to survive, they may prove to be remarkable." Kale exchanged a glance with Celera. "Guidance? We have never accepted unsolicited advice before. Why now?" "Because the outcome matters," Irinder replied. "These humans, if left alone, could change the balance of power in the galaxy. But only if they survive this test. I will provide what they need to defend themselves. Nothing more. They must learn, adapt, and grow." Back on Earth, Terran Solis and Dr. Kalen Emwara watched as a golden ship appeared in orbit. Unlike the alien vessels, this one radiated warmth and stability. A small, glowing device detached from it, descending toward their laboratory. It was compact, sleek, and pulsed with energy that seemed almost alive. "It's technology," Dr. Emwara whispered, awestruck. "And it's compatible with ours, somehow." Terran hesitated, then activated the device. A holographic interface appeared, showing schematics of energy manipulation, drone interference, and shield modulation. This is what we've been missing," he exclaimed. "With this, we can improve our defenses. We can fight back more effectively." Across the globe, similar devices were deployed in cities under attack. Engineers, soldiers, and volunteers worked feverishly, integrating the alien guidance into existing systems. Drones faltered, alien shields weakened, and humans began to reclaim territory inch by inch. Aboard the Luminaris, Kale Draven observed humanity's rapid adaptation. "They are evolving faster than I anticipated," he admitted to Celera. "This Irinder, he has given them tools, yes, but it is their ingenuity that will determine success." Celera nodded. "They are learning to fight, not because they were given a solution but because they are creating their own. That is the essence of this species." Even the alien invaders took notice. Commander Zyrek Thal's frustration deepened. "The humans, they are not just surviving. They are improving. Every encounter strengthens them. We underestimated them." Vorik's towering figure shimmered ominously. "Do not underestimate the spark of life, Zyrek. Some species, fragile though they appear, can rise to challenges beyond all prediction. Observe closely. Humanity may surprise you yet." On Earth, Terran and his team deployed the devices strategically, creating nodes of interference across major cities. Every node disrupted alien sensors, scrambled drone coordination, and even began to counteract the larger ship's energy shields. For the first time, humanity was not only surviving, they were gaining ground. This changes everything," Terran said, breathless but exhilarated. "We've been reactive until now. With these devices we can become proactive. We can strike back." Dr. Mwyer placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Remember, Terran. The device guides us, but it is our ingenuity that will win the battle. Irinder has given us tools, not answers. We must still adapt, still think, still fight. High above, Kale Draven watched the golden ship pulse in the darkness. This species, they may truly be extraordinary, he whispered. Not because of technology, not because of numbers, but because of spirit. That is what makes them dangerous and magnificent. Celera Vuen smiled softly. They have an ally now, but the test is far from over. If they fail to use it wisely, humanity could still be lost. But if they succeed, the galaxy will never see them the same way again. As the alien fleets regrouped in orbit, preparing for their next offensive, humanity's defenders stood ready, bolstered by knowledge, technology, and a newfound determination. The first glimmers of hope shone amidst the chaos. Terran looked up at the alien fleets, then at the glowing device in his hands. We're not alone, he whispered. And now we might actually stand a chance. Irinder Kales remained at the edge of the system, observing silently. Let them fight, his voice echoed across the council networks. Let them learn, let them rise. The galaxy will witness what they can achieve, and I suspect even the invaders will be forced to respect them. For the first time, humanity could see a path forward, not one of mere survival but of resistance, adaptation, and eventual triumph. The war was far from over, but with their unexpected ally, the balance had begun to shift. And somewhere deep within every human heart, a spark of defiance burned brighter than ever. The game had changed. The first light of dawn crept over Earth, illuminating cities scarred by battle yet brimming with the resolve of those who refused to surrender. Across the planet, humans moved like a single coordinated organism. Engineers, soldiers, volunteers, and civilians alike, united by a singular purpose, to reclaim their world. At the heart of this effort was Terran Solis, standing atop the ruins of a communication tower in New York, a glowing device given by Irinder Kales clutched in his hands. The device pulsed rhythmically, harmonizing with human technology and amplifying the energy pulses that had disrupted alien drones for days. Around him, teams deployed improvised defenses, modulating energy fields to create zones of confusion among the enemy. This is it, Terran said, eyes scanning the skies. If we time this right, we can force them to pull back from major cities. From orbit, Captain Leora Vex coordinated with city commanders worldwide. Synchronize all energy pulses, she instructed. Focus on the mothership's shields. Disrupt their formation and we can turn their strength into weakness. For the first time, humans weren't reacting, they were dictating the terms of battle. Drones faltered mid-flight, alien shields flickered, and their coordination began to crumble under simultaneous multi-point interference. Humanity had learned from every encounter, adapted faster than the invaders anticipated, and was now striking with precision born from desperation and ingenuity. Aboard the Luminaris, High Commander Kale Draven watched the holographic displays in awe. They are evolving faster than I could have imagined, he murmured to Ambassador Celera Vunen. Every failure, every improvisation. It's shaping them into a species capable of more than survival. They are becoming strategists, engineers, and warriors all at once. Celera nodded, eyes fixed on the unfolding chaos. And they are doing it themselves. Irinder has given them tools, yes, but the ingenuity, the adaptation, it is purely human. That is what makes this species extraordinary. Even the alien fleet began to feel the strain. Commander Zyrek Thal glared at the rapidly changing battlefield. These primitives, he hissed. They are learning from every encounter. Each assault strengthens their resistance. It is illogical. Vorik, his immense energy form towering over the alien command deck, responded with calm authority. Illogical? Perhaps. But defiance is not bound by logic, Zyrek. Observe them closely. Their ability to adapt is remarkable. Back on Earth, Terran and his team activated the final sequence of coordinated pulses. The alien drones swarmed above Tokyo, Cairo, and London, but the interference now reached the larger ships themselves. Energy shields shimmered and faltered, and alien vessels hesitated in orbit, uncertain and vulnerable. This is working, Terran said, adrenaline coursing through him. We're making them retreat from key areas. In Paris, engineers combined satellite interference with ground-level energy emitters, creating a network of disruption so complex that alien drones collided midair, disoriented and ineffective. Across the Pacific, human forces launched synchronized countermeasures, forcing alien ships to pull back to regroup. For the first time in the conflict, humanity had forced the invaders to react. Irinder Kales, observing from the edge of the solar system, allowed a faint smile. They are learning quickly, he said softly. They are beginning to understand that survival is not just about defense. It is about initiative, creativity, and the courage to strike. Aboard the alien mothership, Zyrek Thal's frustration boiled over. How can such a small young species resist so effectively? Their tactics, their ingenuity, it defies prediction. They are evolving in real time. Vorek's immense form shimmered with faint approval. Evolution through adversity, he said. It is rare even among seasoned civilizations. Observe closely, Zyrek. Humanity may yet redefine what it means to survive. The tide of battle had shifted. Alien formations, once sleek and organized, were now fractured and hesitant. Human cities began reclaiming space that had been under alien control for days. The invaders had underestimated the combination of human tenacity, ingenuity, and Irinder's subtle guidance. In New York, Terran activated one final sequence, targeting the lead alien ship above Manhattan. The pulsing device interfaced with modified satellites, creating a synchronized wave of energy that overwhelmed the alien shields just long enough for human defenses to strike. The ship faltered, tilted, and then withdrew from the city's airspace, a symbolic victory for humanity. Cheering erupted across the planet. Humanity had not just survived, they had forced a retreat. For the first time, the alien forces recognized that this young species was not simply expendable. They were a threat, yes, but also something far more unpredictable, a species capable of learning, adapting, and surviving against impossible odds. From orbit, Captain Leora Vex reported to Kale. The aliens are withdrawing from major cities. Their formation is breaking. Humanity is forcing them back. Kale exhaled slowly, a mixture of relief and wonder on his face. They have done what no one expected. They have turned desperation into strategy, weakness into innovation. And all of it, entirely their own. Celera placed a hand on his arm. This is the essence of humanity, she said. They survive not because of technology alone, not because of numbers, but because of spirit. They adapt, they fight, they endure. That is what makes them extraordinary. Even the alien commanders could not ignore it. Zyrek Thal's tone, once filled with arrogance, now carried uncertainty. These humans, they are not just surviving, they are changing the rules of engagement. Vorek inclined his massive, shimmering form. And that is why they must be observed. For all their youth and fragility, their defiance and ingenuity may shape the future of the galaxy. On the ground, Terran watched the alien ships retreat, exhaustion and exhilaration battling in equal measure. We did it, he whispered to Dr. Emoir. We forced them back. Dr. Emoir smiled faintly, placing a hand on Terran's shoulder. Yes, but this is only the beginning. They will return. The aliens will adapt. And humanity must be ready to evolve even further. High above, Irinder Kales observed the planet, his golden ship glowing faintly in the void. They have taken the first step, he murmured. They have turned the tide, but the storm is not over. Let them continue to fight, let them continue to grow. The galaxy will soon learn that Earth is not a planet to be underestimated. The alien forces, vast and formidable, began a measured withdrawal, regrouping at the edge of Earth's orbit. Humanity had forced them into retreat, not through overwhelming power, but through creativity, courage, and the indomitable will to survive. For the first time, humanity had proven that even the smallest, youngest species could challenge the mightiest forces in the galaxy, and live to tell the tale. The battle was far from over, but the tide had turned. The sun rose over Earth, bathing cities scarred by battle in a warm, golden light. Smoke and dust hung in the air, mingling with the crisp aroma of morning. Yet amid the ruins, a sense of triumph and renewal prevailed. Humanity had survived, not just by chance, but through ingenuity, courage, and unwavering determination. Across the globe, people emerged from shelters, ruins, and bunkers. In New York, Terran Solis stood atop a skyscraper, watching alien ships retreat beyond the horizon. His hands were blackened from wiring and improvising energy devices, but his eyes shone with exhilaration. We did it, he whispered almost disbelievingly. We actually did it. Beside him, Dr. Kalen Emoir surveyed the city, nodding with pride. Yes, Terran. But remember, this victory is only the beginning. The aliens may regroup, but we've proven something essential. We can fight and we can survive. From orbit, Captain Leora Vex monitored the scattered remnants of the alien fleet. Their formation is broken, she reported to the Luminaris. They've been forced into retreat. Human resistance, it's unlike anything the galaxy has ever seen. Aboard the Luminaris, High Commander Kale Draven and Ambassador Celera Viennen observed Earth's recovery in awe. They've done more than survive, Celera said softly. They've demonstrated strategy, adaptation, and a resilience I've rarely witnessed. Kale's gaze remained fixed on the planet. Yes, and this is why they matter. Not for their technology, not for their size, not for their fleets, but for their spirit. Their defiance against overwhelming odds is rare in the galaxy. It is the mark of a species that refuses to yield, no matter the cost. Even the alien invaders were forced to reconsider their assumptions. Commander Zyrek Thal, aboard his shattered flagship, watched Earth with something akin to reluctant respect. Primitive life forms, he muttered, and yet, they adapt, they survive, they learn. Perhaps we underestimated them too severely. Vorik, the colossal energy-shimmering figure commanding the alien forces, remained silent for a moment, his form reflecting the distant sun. They are resilient. More than I anticipated. Observe them carefully, Zyrek. This species may yet alter the balance of power in ways we cannot foresee. On Earth, humanity's efforts to rebuild began immediately. Teams of engineers, scientists, and civilians worked side by side to restore critical infrastructure. Cities once paralyzed by the invasion now buzzed with life, driven by a collective determination to not only survive but to thrive. In Tokyo, survivors repaired energy grids while using the devices gifted by Irinder Kales to enhance the planet's defenses. In Cairo, communications networks were re-established, linking cities into a global network that allowed humanity to coordinate faster than ever before. Across continents, humanity's ingenuity flourished, not in isolation but as a united species. Irinder Kales observed quietly from his golden ship at the edge of the solar system, his presence unseen but deeply felt. They have endured, he said softly. They have learned. They have proven that survival is not dictated solely by strength, but by ingenuity, courage, and will. Let them grow. Let them continue to rise. The Galaxy Council convened one final time to discuss the aftermath. Delegates from countless worlds had been watching Earth closely, and now their deliberations carried a different tone, one of recognition, respect, and cautious optimism. Kale Draven addressed the council chamber. We have observed a species that should have been fragile, insignificant. Yet they have endured forces that could have annihilated entire civilizations. Humanity has demonstrated creativity, ingenuity, and defiance that few in the galaxy have witnessed. This is a species to watch, and perhaps one day a species to learn from. Celera Viennen added, her voice resonating with authority. They have survived not because we intervened but because they refused to yield. That spirit, the unrelenting will to live, adapt, and overcome, is the essence of what makes them remarkable. We can no longer view Earth as a minor, fragile planet. It is a world of potential, a beacon of resilience. Even among the Council's most skeptical delegates, a murmur of agreement spread. They had witnessed a species rise against overwhelming odds and emerge stronger, more capable, and more innovative than anyone had expected. Humanity's defiance had earned them a place in the galaxy's consciousness. Back on the ground, Terran Solis walked through the streets of New York, passing teams repairing power lines, clearing debris, and rebuilding homes. Children played amidst the ruins, laughter echoing like a triumphant chorus against the backdrop of a recovering city. Humanity had been tested, and it had risen. Dr. Emoir joined him, placing a hand on his shoulder. They will come again, she said quietly. The aliens will return, the galaxy will challenge us. But remember this, today we survived. Tomorrow we will be stronger. And the day after, we will continue to rise. Above the planet, the golden ship of Irinder Kales pulsed with a quiet light, a silent guardian observing the young species it had chosen to guide. They have earned their place, Irinder whispered. Not through power alone but through courage, innovation, and spirit. Let the galaxy remember them. Let the galaxy watch them grow. For the first time, the humans looked to the stars not in fear but with purpose. They had faced annihilation, adapted, and emerged victorious. The battle had tested them, shaped them, and revealed their potential. And the Galaxy Council, ancient and wise though it was, could no longer deny it. Humanity was a species to be respected, a species capable of extraordinary feats, and a species whose future would ripple across the galaxy in ways no one could yet predict. Terran stood on the rooftop once more, looking up at the sky, now clear of alien vessels. We survived, he whispered. We fought back. And we'll be ready for whatever comes next. Dr. Emoir smiled, gazing at the horizon. Yes, Terran. A new dawn has arrived, not just for Earth but for humanity, and the galaxy will never see us the same way again. The sun climbed higher, illuminating the scars of battle and the faces of survivors, their eyes bright with hope and determination. Humanity had endured its greatest trial. It had adapted, innovated, and survived. The world had changed and so had its people. A new chapter had begun. The dawn of humanity's resilience had arrived.